Hey there. All right. So it's another evening of reading from the Discourses of Epictetus. Let's go ahead and continue. We're more than halfway through the book. Let's see. So this is chapter 3 of book 3. And the title of this essay is "What is the chief concern of a good man, and in what we chiefly ought to train ourselves?" Let's begin. The chief concern of a wise and good man is his own reason. That's the best opening line ever, right? As any good Stoic would say, our chief concern should be the reason, or as other Stoics might refer to, the governing faculty, right? The part of ourselves that fleshes out whether something is accurate, true, and sound. Sound being that it is a match for it. It's not just something that on appearances are true, but it's not hollow. It's a match all the way through. In my own book, Going Alone, I would refer to the homunculus as being the agent that performs that action, and the principle of reason as being the vehicle by which that's done. Of course, we need some sound epistemology, some good way to make sense of the world. We need a good toolkit to do that. Again, the chief concern of a wise and good man is his own reason. The body is the concern of a physician and of a gymnastic trainer, and the fields of the husbandman. The business of a wise and good man is to use the phenomena of existence conformably to nature. Use the phenomena of existence conformably to nature. So the way things are, we will conform to that. It doesn't necessarily mean that we accept everything as it occurs. We have our values, but we recognize the nature of things are, and we deal with reality as it appears. Now, every soul, just as it is naturally formed to assent to truth, dissent from falsehood, and to suspend judgment with regard to things uncertain, so it is moved by a desire of good, an aversion from evil, and an indifference to whether it neither an indifference to what is neither good nor evil. So we have our natural inclination, disinclination, and the realm of indifference, which is all things that are neither good nor evil. For as a money changer or a gardener is not at liberty to reject Caesar's coin, but remember this was written in the 1st century AD, so that was the coinage. But when once it is shown, is obliged, whether he will or not, to deliver his wares in exchange for it. So it is with the soul. What? For as a money changer or a gardener is not at liberty to reject Caesar's coin, but when once it is shown, is obliged, whether he will or not, to deliver his wares in exchange for it. So it is with the soul. So what about the soul? So the soul is obliged. Apparently, let's read on. Apparent good at first sight attracts, and evil repels, nor will the soul any more reject an evident appearance of good. Than Caesar's coin. Got it. So the soul then, in this case, and of course I don't believe in a soul, but I do believe we have the governing faculty, the homunculus. In his case, his use of that would be the soul is going to be obliged to accept the proper currency of things, of the recognition of what is good, what is not good, and what is indifferent. Again. Hence depends every movement. I'm beginning a new paragraph. Hence depends every movement, both of God and man, and hence good is preferred to every obligation, however near. My connection is not with my Father, but with good. There's the sentence, remember, my connection is not with the Father, but with good. Reminds me of Thoreau, who once was describing that he gives up, or no, it was Emerson, he will reject father, mother, children, relations, dog, and cat when his muse calls him. I guess Christ said something similar, right? With regard to forgetting your family and following him. So again, with this, Hence depends every movement, both of God and man, and hence good is preferred to every obligation, however near. My connection is not with my Father, but with good. Are you so hard-hearted? Such is my nature. And that's exactly what they said to Emerson, too. Are you so hard-hearted? Such is my nature, and such is the coin which God has given me. If, therefore, good is interpreted to be anything but what is fair and just, away go father and brother and country and everything. If, therefore, if, therefore, good is interpreted to be anything but what is fair and just, away go father and brother and country and everything. What? Shall I overlook my own good and give it up to you? For what? I am your father, but not my good. I am your brother, but not my good. But if we define the good as consisting in a right moral purpose, then the preservation of the several relations of life becomes a good, and then he who gives up mere externals acquires the good. Got it, got it. So the family can complain, well, why would you give us up? I would do that for the good. I always would value the good over any connection. Now then he circles back and says, but good relations are, in having good relations with our family is an element of the good, so then you would want to pursue that. So maybe he's alluding to maybe sometimes we sacrifice the good for the sake of the peace. I think that's true. Your father deprives you of your money, but he does not hurt you. He will possess more land than you, as much more as he pleases. But will he possess more honor, more fidelity, more affection? Good point. Who can deprive you of this possession? Not even Zeus. Ah, that reminds me of Stilbo the Stoic, right? Stilbo, again, coming out of the ruined city after the conquering king had demolished, and I've told this story many times, his wife and his children murdered and killed, his home and his business destroyed, stumbles out of the flames, and the conquering king asks him, what have you lost? And Stilbo responds that I have all my goods with me. And Epictetus is basically saying the same thing. Who can deprive you of this possession? Basically, that possession being honor, fidelity, and affection. Not even Zeus, for he did not will it so, since he has put, and of course Zeus for the ancient Greeks would be, similar to, not even God, right, all powerful. For he did not will it so, not even Zeus, for he did not will it so, since he has put this good into my own power and given it me like his own, uncompelled, unrestrained, and unhindered. But when anyone deals in coins different from this, then whoever shows it to him may have whatever is sold for it in return. A thievish proconsul comes into the province. What coin does he use? Silver. Offer it to him and carry off what you please. An adulterer comes. What coin does he use? Women, take your coin, says one, and give me this little wench. Give it to me, and it is yours. Another is interested in boys. Give him the coin and take what you please. Another is fond of hunting. Give him a fine pony or puppy, and he will sell you for it what you want, though it be with sighs and groans, for there is that within which controls him and assumes this to be current coin. I didn't follow that. Let's go back up and try that again. Who can deprive you of this possession, namely that possession being honor, fidelity, and affection? Not even Zeus, for he did not will it so, since he has put this good into my own power and given it me like his own, uncompelled, unrestrained, and unhindered. Therefore, we can have honor, affection, fidelity by simply heeding the governing faculty, heeding our reason, being obedient to our sound epistemology and ability to make assessments of the world. And if we heed that, then not even Zeus can take that away from it. Not even God can take it away. So he then goes on, he says, but when anyone deals in coin different from this, then whoever shows it to him may have whatever is sold for it in return. Ah, I get it. So if we do not trade in virtue, if we trade in anything other than virtue, then we can be bought and sold by anyone who will offer us that. So, for example, if we want claim, we want reputation, anyone that will offer us a claim, especially someone who can do that in a way that kind of validates strongly. So let's say maybe at work, someone in a higher position, praises us and offers us an opportunity, but at a price for our virtue. We think we can be bought for that. Likewise, for health, our virtue can be bought for the sake of our security, particularly security and health and etc. So our health, our wealth, our reputation, all of these things can be bought and sold. And he uses several examples here, saying, for example, but when anyone deals in coin different from this, then whoever shows it to him may have whatever is sold for it in return. A thievish proconsul comes into the province. What coin does he use? Silver. Offer it to him and carry off what you please. An adulterer comes. What coin does he use? Women. So he's now listing various types of people whose values are not virtue, but there are other things. The proconsul, of course, is money. The adulterer is women. The hunter is going to be a horse and a dog. So you can offer those things, and you can if you pay the coinage that they trade in, then they can be bought. But the good man, the good woman, the virtuous man, the virtuous woman cannot be bought. Their virtue, not even Zeus can take it away. I get it. It's beautiful. Well put. Again, let's rewind just a little bit back up. Not even Zeus, for he did not will it so, since he has put this good into my power and given it me, like his own, uncompelled, unrestrained, and unhindered. But when anyone deals in coin different from this, then whoever shows it to him may have whatever is sold for it in return. A thievish proconsul comes into the province. What coin does he use? Silver. Offer it to him and carry off what you please. An adulterer comes. What coin does he use? Women. Take the coin, says one, and give me this little wench. Give it to me, and it is yours. Another is interested in boys. Give him the coin and take what you please. Another is fond of hunting. Give him a fine pony or puppy, and he will sell you for it what you want, though be it with sighs and groans. For there is that within which controls him, and assumes this to be the current coin. What's that bit about the sighs and the groans? There is that within. So the part of him that he would say Zeus gave him, right? That governing council, that I would call it the homunculus, knows better. But we don't have the strength of the will or the fortitude to do better. Maybe the tutorage, right? New paragraph. In this manner ought everyone chiefly to train himself. When you go out in the morning, examine those whom you see or hear, and answer as to a question. What have you seen? A handsome person. Apply the rule. Is this a thing controllable by moral purpose or uncontrollable? Uncontrollable. Then discard it. What have you seen? One in agony for the death of a child. Apply the rule. Death is inevitable. Of course he's going to say, get rid of it, right? Banish the despair then. Has a consul met you? Apply the rule. What kind of thing is the consular office? Controllable by moral purpose or uncontrollable? Uncontrollable. Throw aside this too. It will not pass. Cast it away. It is nothing to you. Therein lies the strength. You see where this is headed, right? One by one, you're meeting people, you're asking them, what have you seen? And they tell you the things that they've seen, the things that have moved them, that have pushed their emotional buttons, caused them to be upset or joyous or whatever. And then Epictetus is asking us, in which of the three realms does this belong? The controllable realm, the uncontrollable realm, or indifference? If uncontrollable, well, I guess it would be just the two, controllable or uncontrollable. And if uncontrollable, apply apathy, be relegated to indifference, as he keeps saying. Again, in this manner ought everyone chiefly to train himself, and this is what I will try to do beginning tomorrow. When you go out in the morning, examine those whom you see or hear, and answer as to a question. What have you seen? A handsome person. So you see a handsome person. Apply the rule. Is this thing controllable by moral purpose or uncontrollable? Of course, it's utterly uncontrollable, right? What are we going to do about a handsome person? We are neither jealous nor feel passion of attraction towards them. Uncontrollable. This is where the Stoic and Stoics begins to set in, right? Then discard it. What have you seen? One in agony for the death of a child. Apply the rule then. Death is inevitable. Banish this despair then. Has a consul met you? Apply the rule. What kind of thing is the consular office? Controllable by moral purpose or uncontrollable? Uncontrollable. Throw aside this too. It will not pass. Cast it away. It is nothing to you. So then how much will you be left with at the end of the day when you apply this function to the day? Not much, right? Not much will move us or thwart us from our more noble ends, which are the pursuit of the well-being of thinking creatures, virtue namely. Just 3 more paragraphs. If we acted thus and practiced in this manner from morning till night, by heaven, something would be done. Yes, I agree. Whereas now, on the contrary, we are allured by every semblance, half asleep, and if we ever awake, it is only for a little while at the lecture. But as soon as we go out, if we meet anyone grieving, we say, he is undone. If a consul, how happy he is. If we an exile, how miserable. If a poor man, how wretched. He has nothing to eat. Whereas the Stoic perspective would allow us to be walk through such things not without being human and not caring, but not being unduly moved by them, unduly being the key, right? We will be moved, we will seek to help, but we won't be unduly moved. Because what end movement beyond the sphere of reason, right? I mean, reason, empathy or sympathy conjoined with reason and a controlled emotional state are more likely to produce better results than unbridled passion. Continuing. These miserable prejudices, then, are to be lopped off, and this is the end of which we should direct our efforts. For what is weeping and groaning? Prejudice. What is misfortune? Prejudice. What is sedition, discord, complaint, accusation, impiety, levity? All these are prejudices and nothing more. And prejudices concerning things uncontrollable by moral purpose, as if they could be either good or evil. Let anyone transfer these convictions to things controllable by moral purpose, and I will guarantee that he will preserve his constancy, whatever be the state of things about him. You may go empty home, the dogs are upset. They might hear. Last paragraph. The soul is like a bowl filled with water, while the semblances of things fall like rays upon its surface. If the water is moved, the rays will seem to be moved likewise, though it is in reality without motion. When, therefore, anyone is seized with a giddiness in his head, it is not the arts and virtues that are confused, but the mind in which they lie. When this recovers its composure, so they will too. Now, I didn't understand that. I was distracted by the dogs, so I didn't really even understand the paragraph above it. Let's go back up a little bit. Back to the second paragraph. These miserable prejudices, then, are to be lopped off. So the prejudices that come from responding out of sorts with our recognition of what is controllable or uncontrollable, without applying indifference, right? Without applying apathy. Those are the prejudices. These miserable prejudices are to be lopped off, and this is the end to which we should direct our efforts. Agreed. For what is weeping and groaning? It's a prejudice. Yeah, it's a byproduct. Weeping and groaning is a byproduct, in effect, of that undisciplined thinking. What is misfortune? Prejudice. Same thing again, right? There is fortune resides in indifference. Misfortune, health, and reputation belong to indifference, right? We should not. What are you doing? The dog's pulling the blanket out of his cage. What are you doing there? Got it. What is sedition, discord, complaint, accusation, impiety, levity? All of these are prejudices and nothing more. And prejudice is concerning things uncontrollable on moral purpose, as if they could be either good or evil, because they're uncontrollable, right? It can't be good or evil. Let anyone transfer these convictions to things controllable by moral purpose, and I will guarantee that he will preserve his constancy, whatever be the state of things about him. Got it. So, if you can apply yourself to focus our efforts on the things that are within our control, namely the governing faculty, the homunculus, our ability to make moral judgments and to control our application of our connection. Connection's not the word. The things that we are attached to, we can maintain the distance from the things that are out of our control. It doesn't mean we don't act upon them. It doesn't mean we don't work to build a better city and a better state and a better relations. But we can keep our distance. And this is happening to me more and more, particularly at work, where I'm in meetings and I can see the distance, and I can see that things that are uncontrollable and they don't bother me. That was happening once today. There was one person kept prodding, as is their nature. And I recognize that is uncontrollable. That is their nature. I can take particular responsive actions to mitigate that, and it did work to do that. But the interesting thing was, it wasn't even hidden. I didn't even have to control it. The emotions remained under control through the whole thing. That is the Stoic way. Let's try this last paragraph again. The soul is like a bowl filled with water. So a bowl filled with water. Well, the semblances of things fall like rays upon its surface. I see, so they come down, or impressions of things come down on the surface of the water. If the water is moved, the ray will seem to be moved likewise, though it is in reality without motion. Right, because the thing itself, the thing is without motion, but the semblance of it is in motion, right? The water, the inflection of the water. When, therefore, anyone is seized with a giddiness in his head, it is not the arts and virtues that are confused, but the mind in which they lie. With this, when this recovers its composure, so they will too. That's the end of the paragraph. I get it there. So it's like that, the semblance of the thing resting upon the mind like a bowl full of water when moved. It's not the thing itself, but our agitation, our internal upset, a lack of composure based on our not recognizing it as something that is uncontrollable, and we lose our composure. We become the intemperate man or woman. I get it, I think. Okay, that's a lot to think about for later. All right, well, thank you for joining me. This is fun to do. And hopefully if there's time tomorrow, we'll do another chapter. So we typically one chapter of Epictetus every night. Got lucky I got to do this before Yumiko got home. She went into the office today, so she should be home soon, and we can have dinner, enjoy some wine together, and start our 4-day Thanksgiving weekend. And for those of you, like fellow Americans, fellow residents in the United States, happy Thanksgiving to you. Take care. Be safe, but not too safe.